I'm RedEye Sports Editor Chris Sosa, and we are so lucky today to have Holly Holm, bantamweight fighter from the UFC. How are you doing today,
I'm
Holly?
doing great. Thank you. I'm so glad to be
Excellent.
here.
All right, well, where I want to start is so when you're doing a weigh-in before a fight, when it's on television, it looks like there's a whole lot of tension between you and the other fighter. How much of that is real, and how much does that change
Mhm.
between fights?
Every fighter has, there's a different kind of vibe you get from each person, but Weighins, it's an intense it's an intense day. You're that's the last face off you're gonna, do before you see that person in the octagon, and it's an intense, that's the stare down. So whether you have ill will or not, I mean, I don't ever go in with ill will, but this is still the opponent you're facing, and you know that you're gonna be getting in there the next day. And the emotions are high for sure.
How close do you think you felt to coming to blows, or the other person hitting you after a weigh-in or during a weigh-in?
I've probably only had like three in my entire career, boxing or MMA or kickboxing, where I thought, are we gonna do this right now? Like, is this gonna go down right now? Rhonda was one of them.
Okay.
She got right in my face, and we were just doing the stare down, and she actually, she's the one that kind of wrapped her arm around my arm, and it like bumped my arm into her, so she like made me kind of my hand kind of hit her. So we were kind of sitting there, and then she kind of went for a little swing over the top. So I just kind of followed through, pushed it off, and I thought, it was intense. Like I was ready to go.
You're the animosity, I guess, on screen, I guess you could say, and in the octagon between you and Rousey is certainly well documented. But is it easier to fight someone who you dislike? Does that matter at all when you're fighting?
It doesn't matter. The best way I try to explain that is if I'm in practice, these people that are my teammates that I consider pretty much family, I still want to hit them more than they hit me. I still, I want to get the better of it. That's what we do. We're in this together. Um, so no, when I get in there to fight, I want to win. That's all there is to it. No ill will. I just want victory.
Have you ever found any advantage or disadvantage to fighting with anger or a certain amount of emotion, or is that all something that you try to keep in check while you're in the octagon?
I think I think it's good to have passion and want to. I mean, I always say we're kind of a different breed. If you do this for a living, you like kind of have to like to punch someone in the face. It's like kind of feels good, and you kind of have to want to do that. And yes, that's what I want to do. Like I want to be able to throw some punches, and I want to be able to come out victorious. And I mean, I don't want to long term hurt someone, but I kind of want them to feel it. Um, and but it's just the passion. There's a reason why they're in there. They want to do the same to me. So they're rather than an ill will towards them, it's kind of I see it more as I'm in there for survival. Because if it's up to them, they'd be doing that to me. So it's not hard for me to want to go out there and physically, put it on.
You mentioned your teammates in MMA and UFC in particular is a little bit different from, say, boxing when you're more or less on your own. Are you friends with anyone who you've knocked out, or have you ever had dinner with someone who you've been in the ring with?
Yeah, I think the closest I ever really was um Chevelle Hallback. She's actually I know she's had one MMA fight. I haven't really followed up, but I fought her in boxing,
Okay.
and we had a fight, and I want to say a year or two later, Fox Sports came and we did Best Damn Fight Night on Fox Sports Net, and she fought the same night. It was an all girls card. She fought the same night as myself, a different opponent.
Okay.
And when the fight was over, I'm like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? You're in Albuquerque. We're all going to my house. We're just ordering like late night pizza. Come on over." She came over and we actually hung out at the house and
Wow.
talked about the fights that night and had a good time. And then probably maybe 6 months to a year after that, her and I had a rematch.
What was
So
that? What
it
were the
was
emotions
fine,
going in?
it was fine. And I wound up after the second fight, I'd won the first fight, and then we had the rematch, and I won the second fight. And after the fight, she came up and she just said, "When somebody's got your number, I guess they got your number." It was just weird. We still had talked every now and then after her first MMA fight. It was before I ever had my first MMA fight. I was like, I had talked to her over the phone actually, and she's like, it was crazy. Like, man, I got put on my back, kind of freaked out for a moment, and then I kind of got it together, and she wound up winning the fight. And Uh, so I think that's probably the closest I've really actually talked with somebody that I actually fought.
Do you think that's unusual to be friends with someone after you've really tried to kill them? Well, not kill them, but tried to
Yeah,
beat them in a fight?
I think that there's a plenty of fighters that are friendly after fights. I mean, I just even look at the gym right now, and Cowboy Cerrone and Pettis are sparring, and they're buds, and BJ Penn and Diego are sparring, and they're buds. They've fought before,
Sure.
and I just I don't know. I think the most awkward one was Alistair Overeem and Andre because we were on the same team,
Hmm.
and then they had the fight, so that's the only time that it's been really awkward. But other than that,
Gotcha. So you've had 7 knockouts in your career. Can you sense when you've knocked someone out?
um, there's punches that land in a fight that even maybe if somebody else doesn't see, you felt it sink in, they're hurt. Um, that doesn't mean they can't recover from it. That doesn't, I never think, oh, this is over before it's actually over. But there is that moment that's like, I got him. Let's make sure and capitalize now before they have time to recover. But there's definitely those moments. And I've had fights where maybe I've hit a body shot that I know took their wind and maybe nobody else saw it, but I'm going to keep following up. Now's the time to capitalize. And so, yeah, I mean, you can feel it.
Do you ever feel bad about knocking somebody out? I mean, you're on
No,
record as saying that with Rousey, it was not something you were concerned with, but none of your fights you felt,
no,
ooh,
no.
okay.
Um, I mean, after the fact, yes, I think my thought is more, I hope they're okay. But I never think I don't really want to knock them out because then you're not really going to do it. And you have to be okay with that in order to be in this sport.
I say, I imagine that's part of the understanding that
That's it.
everyone accepts when they get into the octagon.
Yeah.
So, what is it going to take, do you think, to get more interest in women's fighting, more weight classes, and more exposure for the women's side of the sport in UFC?
The most I really think about that is the better we do, the more people want to watch it. The more they watch it, the more desire there'll be for media and promotion behind it. Um, I'm just going to keep fighting. And whatever opportunities come, great. Um, I don't want to just sit aside. I think there's a lot of people that can sit aside and say what, women need or should have or what rights should be there. And it's like, or just, show them why you belong there. That's where I'm at. I'm just going to keep pushing forward and I want to show them something new all the time. I want to give exciting fights. I want to perform well. And hopefully with that, they'll see that and want to give more opportunities.
What sort of new things do you plan on showing fans and other people who are following the sport?
I want to get better at everything. I've been boxing a long time, but guess what? I still feel like my jab stinks. It's like I want to get better at it. I want to get better. I want to get a stronger, sharper, straight punch. I want to get, more powerful uppercuts. And that's something that I've been doing forever. Imagine how much I want to still learn in wrestling and MMA, something that I haven't been around that long. Um, I still want to do more and more with, striking. So I always want to show a better, more improved Holly Holm.
There's been a lot of conversation, noise, let's say, around Chris Cyborg finally joining the
Hmm.
UFC. What are your thoughts on her and the, let's say, attitude that she brings to the sport? Is it a good thing, and do you even think about it at all?
I really like Cyborg. I think she's a great girl. I've actually gotten to know her a little bit outside just because we filmed a movie together, her and Misha Tate and myself. And I really enjoyed hanging out with her. I thought it was great. I thought she did well in her last fight. Showed, she's always impressive with her power and her, her striking ability. And I feel like um, she came out, and every time I see her, I feel like a little, she even showed a little bit sharper, straight punches, and I thought she did well. Um, I think she does a good thing for women's sports, especially with MMA. I think that it's a good thing. I mean, we'll see what happens.
You mentioned the movie that you're in, Fight Valley. I mean, what was it like filming that? Is acting something you want to do on a more regular basis? And how do you think your acting career is going
If
so far?
With that, it was they asked, "Do you wanna film this?" I thought, "Yeah, why not? I don't have a fight
That's
coming
it,
up,"
huh?
it was okay. And so we filmed it, and actually I found out about the Ronda fight the day before I flew out. So actually the day that I, flew out, the very next day is the first day that I really ever talked with Misha.
Hmm.
I'd met her, "Hey, nice to meet you," at maybe 2 occasions before, and she was supposed to have that fight, and then it didn't go through, and so it's kinda one of those things that's like, let's just clear, the elephant in the room. She's like, "Hey,
Sure.
congratulations on the fight." Like, obviously, I wanted that fight, and they took it from me, and, but, I mean, I know it's not your fault. Why wouldn't you take it? And that was it, and we all just kinda got along, filmed the movie. It was only 2 days of filming, and then we were out.
2
Um,
days, that's it? That seems unusual for a
we'll see. I
movie.
didn't do a whole movie. I was a fight scene in the movie.
I understand.
And then one bar scene after that. So one day was the fight scene, other day was the bar scene, and that was about it. So, you know,
Do you see Ronda Rousey's career as some sort of blueprint for where you want yours to go, or are you more focused on making your own mark and creating your own path?
I feel like I've already made my own mark, and I want to keep making it better. I want an exclamation mark, not just a little mark. But Ronda has done great things for the sport. I came from boxing background, and I wanted to have titles in boxing and MMA, and I was able to accomplish that. So I feel like I already have made my own mark. It's a different story than Ronda's, and I feel like every
Certainly.
fighter should have their own story. Who wants to be like someone else or follow someone else's lead? I want to make my own mark, and that's why I want to keep getting better. Um, you know,
How long do you plan on fighting?
I'm not sure. We'll see. If I knew when the end would be, I probably should retire now,
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Well, it doesn't seem
I'm
like
in
you're
it.
anywhere close to that.
Nope.
So you have, from what I understand, you have your residential or your real estate license.
Yes.
How often does that knowledge come in handy these days?
You know, um, like I was John Jones' realtor. A couple of my
Okay,
friends realtor, sold
sure.
their houses.
Yeah.
I only do it when it's somebody that I'm, maybe a buddy, or if not, somebody maybe even just maybe have my dad and I hang our license at the same place. So,
Hmm.
if I'm real busy with a fight, I'm like, "Hey, Dad, I need you to kind of take it away from me for a while and finish this." Um, I know that with my UFC debut was when John was kind of closing on his house, and so we had, all the paperwork was pretty much done, but they were going for the day of inspection. I'm like, "Dad, I'm training. I can't make it." So he went and showed up at the house to do the inspection, be there for that. And so it's been really nice to be able to kind of work together on that. But I don't go out of my way for it because I don't have a lot of time. So
Hmm.
I don't even really advertise I do it because I don't really have time to do it. But it kind of just started with something I wanted to do for a backup plan in case I got hurt. I mean, yes, I'm married now. We have 2 incomes, but before it was just me. I had a house payment. I had only my fighting career. So if
Sure.
I got hurt, I needed to be able to have something to, fall back on, and just to have something for the future in case. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen with this career. It's crazy. So, I've had my license for probably 7 years.
How often do you find yourself browsing real estate? Maybe if you're in a new city or if you're just
Mhm.
on the
Mm.
internet thinking, oh, I wonder what is
I guess I
the
kind of
deal
look at
here.
home because I just think it's fun to see, what's for sale out there, what would be a good deal, what wouldn't. Curious. I mean, who doesn't like to? I think it's fun to look at other houses, see how they are, and I think it's fun to actually just browse around with it. So
What's it like having your dad as a business partner?
easy. I mean,
It's probably all you can ask for.
yeah. I mean, that's just. I can't say that. My family's pretty close. There's really not a lot of like we're pretty easy. We're all talkers too. So
Is there a certain feature that you think your next house needs to have?
for me
Yeah,
personally,
for you personally.
oh yeah, I have this vision. This what I would love in my house. Like a master bedroom, you just sleep in there. The closet, yeah, let's have some storage space. But there's one thing I think would be awesome because I do a lot of like, I don't know if you know what die cutting machines are. You've probably seen the Cricut Silhouette. Like, you can do a lot of like possibilities are endless, and I do have my sewing machine as well. I would love to have a laundry room that is
Okay.
like pimped out, you know,
I think you might be the first person I know who said they wanted pimped out
a
laundry room.
pimped out laundry room, and I'm talking like it's a do-all room. It's like, okay, there's like your washer and dryer, but I want like storage all across. And I don't know if you've ever seen kitchens have like those, like a KitchenAid mixer can be like on one of those stands you just prop up out of the
I
cabinet. Do you know
believe
what I'm
I've seen
talking
that.
about?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I would love to have something like that that's just for my sewing machine
Huh.
to where it's constantly just plugged in. I need to just sew something real quick and then put it right back in and it's like clean and put away in a cabinet. Like a big, huge island in there so you can fold all your laundry, or if I have crafts or fabric I need to put out, and I want a sick skylight above it. Like, that
Wow.
has, like,
Okay.
stone. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right.
Are you one of these people who enjoys doing laundry? Do you find it therapeutic, or is it not something you want
I
to
can't
have?
say I love laundry. I'm
Okay.
just saying that would be the laundry room, but I would be more doing, like, fun stuff in there, like, you know.
Gotcha. Is fashion design part of your DNA as well?
I guess it's just if I mean, even with, like, I don't really wear T-shirts,
All right. Well, yeah, it's not really part of the
so
fighter's wardrobe,
right.
let's say, even
But
when you're training.
yeah, but I'm more of, like, short sleeve or long sleeve. Like, regular T-shirt I don't do, so even with something simple like that, I wanna make the T-shirt into maybe some kinda tank top or a different kinda shirt. So I guess I'm not really like fashion designer. I just know that I'll just like cut whatever up that I want.
So it's more about practicality
Yeah,
with you.
for me.
Gotcha.
Selfish.
That's okay. It's your thing. I want to talk to you a little bit about Chicago. I mean, of all the cities that you've been in and fought in, how do you know that a city is a good fight city? A city that is into that kind of sport?
um,
Does it have
I
to
don't
do
know.
when you're at the weigh-in or
I feel like
doing interviews like these?
I'm here with I'm here in Chicago, and what's awesome is by coincidence, my wrestling coach is from here.
Really?
So I've been here a
Who's your
couple
wrestling
times to
coach?
Israel Martinez,
Okay.
Izzy style wrestling. Um, he's I've been here twice just to train. He's mostly, traveling to Albuquerque whenever we need him down there, and he's been down there. Probably can't even count how many times, and he'll come for weeks at a time, um, or even just for a few days and go back on the weekend and then come back again. So it just depends on the scheduling, but I've been here for that, and so for me, I already kind of associate Chicago as a fight town because I've come out here to train for a fight.
Makes
I don't
sense.
know.
What are you looking forward to most about fighting in Chicago?
Just a new experience and something. I mean, I feel like Chicago's a fun city. I haven't got to see everything, but I got to see some of it, and I've loved it. And
What do you love about what you've seen so far?
okay, so the food has been great. Obviously, I can't eat that right now,
Sure.
but when I was here before, is it Portillo's? Portillo's?
Portillo's.
Portillo's. That was good. Had some deep dish pizza from couldn't. If the name was thrown to me, maybe I would think
There
of
are
it.
so many. I mean,
Right.
Gino's East, Giordano's, you got Pequod's, got Uno and Due,
I think what was the first two?
Giordano's or
No.
Gino's East.
Yeah, I think that's maybe where I
Okay.
went. Okay.
Well, as I said, there's
Deep
so
dish
many.
pizza. It was
It's easy
delicious.
to find here.
We went to the Bean. We actually went even just running along the water. That was awesome. I don't my wrestling coach. He's out like Addison
Yeah,
area,
that's
so
yeah,
got to see a little
northwest
bit
of
of
here.
that area. Yeah. I don't know. It's like you got the city, and then you can kind of get out and out where Izzy lives. There's trails that you can run on with trees right
Absolutely.
over you. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to offer here.
Well, I think that's about all I have for you today, Holly. But thank
Awesome.
you
Thank
so
you.
much for your time and
Thank
best of
you.
luck. She'll be fighting Valentina Shevchenko on July 23rd at the United Center.
Awesome. Thank you.